Nuclear missile ready. Nuclear missile ready. Nuclear missile ready.
Hello and welcome to the 156th edition of the Alpha Pro Series. I'm your caster Snoopy, and my co-caster is actually, I think he's actually late, but hopefully he can come later on. But anyhow, we have a show match between, oh, hey, Salamat, are you there?
Yeah, are we online?
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry about that, bit of a time zone issue.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so...
Currently 6 o'clock here.
Ah, okay. Wait, what time zone are you in?
I don't know. It's been
Anyhow, we have a show match between Astrea and Solar. So we're gonna have ourselves a PvZ. And let me go ahead and invite you once you're on.
Yeah, I guess I must be off AEDT. I'm on the regular time now because it's 7 o'clock AEDT.
Ah, okay. Luckily, it's only not too late. It's a few minutes, but it's all right. Hopefully, we got the players already set up.
Okay, well, I've got a patch to download. It's probably going to take a couple of minutes. So why don't you start the first game without me and bring me in after the first one?
All right, cool. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start game 2. All right, gonna ask for confirmation if the players are ready. This is of course a best of 9, so first player to win 5 games will win this Alpha Pro Series. And of course we are going to be featuring the new ladder maps. So, this shall be fun. Anyhow, we're going to go ahead and start the countdown. Game number 1, and it is going to be on Eternal Empire. So usually the format is the caster chooses the first map, and then afterwards the loser picks the next map. So I've decided I'm going to choose Eternal Empire, partly because it is a map that was featured on the last season, so both these players should be familiar with it. And plus it's the first map, so might as well go ahead and get that out of the way. And then we'll see if the players decide to choose any of the new maps, or if they decide to go for some of the older maps. Anyhow, we have a again a PvZ here on Eternal Empire. So let's go ahead and introduce our first player. Spawning at the top right, we have our lovely blue Protons from Team Alpha X. It is Astrea. And spawning here at the bottom left, we have our red Zerg from Triumphant Song Gaming. It is Solar. Alright, so off the bat, we do have the pylon and gateway down below, so probably going to be an expansion. So nothing too crazy, no crazy cheeses so far. But as we see the game progresses along, I'm going to be interested to see the newer maps, how they fare on the newer maps with kind of the layout. Players are still figuring out the kind of the pros and cons, what strategies are stronger on each of the different maps. But of course, before we get into that, Eternal Empire is one of the maps that both players have, I'm assuming, played a lot on. So they probably have solidified their strategy on this map, their build orders and such. But we do see a little scouting probe from Astrea. Now this isn't the earliest scouting probe, but it at least scouts the third base. So he knows that Solar has opened 3 hatcheries, so he should at least know that there is no fast links coming across the map, as he is chrono boosting his adept, and it is going to be a Stargate. Where is that Stargate? Oh, actually this is a really interesting placement. You don't usually see a lot of Stargate placed there. You usually see it placed in the main base, somewhere around the main base, but this is actually pretty nice. You see the Lings chopping at the rocks. And let's see, is the first adept out? Yep, it is. Okay, so it's gonna go shade into the natural. Does get a scout on the mineral line. See that there are drones being produced. And of course, this adept is not there to do significant damage. Is there to maybe harass a bit, but mainly to scout. We do see that the Overlord for Solar has decided to go straight into the main base. Unfortunately for him, he has not scouted the Stargate, so really well done on the Stargate placement there by Astrea. And as we do see the two Adepts will shade in. And first Oracle is out. Actually, it's not going to go ahead and go across the map. It's going to actually wait for the second Oracle. Interesting enough. Ooh, actually, Astrea, I'm not sure if that was a bit of a mistake, whether he let the shade finish on purpose, but he decided to recall immediately just to save them. But again, we have not seen Solar scout the Stargate opening, and but he does throw precautionary spore callers, which will help in the defense of these Oracles. He will go ahead and start moving out with the second Oracle, as well as get the third Nexus at the same time. So let's see how many damage these Oracles do. Roach Warren on the way for the Zerg. And has he yet scouted the... Okay, now he does see the Oracle. So we'll see how many drones he can get. And here we go. Oracles dashing in. Only gets 2 drones, so not too much. I'm sure Astrea definitely wanted a bit more drones than that, but again, Solar ready. Knowing this matchup so well, Ready knows the Oracle timings, knowing when to throw the spores. But at the same time, we do see a double prong attack. Adepts into the natural while he is harassing into the third. Oh, let's see if that... Oh, 1 Oracles goes down. But only 4. Once again, just not too many drones for... Especially for how he opened. I mean, first he didn't get scouted. And then secondly, he opened with 3 Oracles, losing 1 of them. And in total, he's only lost 6 drones, which is... I think is alright. I think Solar will take it. Now, the one thing about Protoss players is, you know, they usually want to get so much drone damage with those Oracles, they kind of miss micro and they just kind of overcommit and they lose it. But it's really, really important just to save those Oracles, because you might need them later on for the counter Ling attack, or maybe some Stasis Ward and Revelation. And we do finally see a kind of a little bit of a counter attack with these Lings, but plenty of units there on the ground for Astrea to defend. Doesn't even need his Oracles to defend that. Usually you see a lot of players will go and kind of retreat their Oracles back at home to defend against that Ling, and then use the Adepts to kind of harass across the map, or maybe even warp in a double Archon War Prism. But we do see that Astrea, he is transitioning into the Archon, High Templar Archon kind of composition. And he is starting to kind of pump up the Immortal counts. Now he is going to actually make a 2 Immortals and then a War Prism follow up. So we'll see if Astrea decides to move out once his War Prism joins up the 4th. But in fact, actually Astrea, he's going for a really quick 4th base. He's going to go ahead and feel safe enough to expand to a 4th base. But in fact, there is a Mutalisk transition, and I don't think this has gotten spotted yet. Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe he has. He's thrown some cannons in the 4th base. Yeah, he's actually seen it. Okay, so he scouted with the hallucinated Phoenix with the sentries. All right, so Phoenix will push these Mutalisks back. But let's see if the Mutalisk can get as many damage as he can before it dies. Only 2. So well defended there by Astrea. So both these players has just done really well in terms of the defensive end. Kind of making sure they scout their opponents, see what's up. Having the necessary defense in place. And both these players has yet to lose too many in this early game. We are arriving at the 8-minute and 30 mark. And Storm is about to finish. Fourth base has been the Slavish, but Solar here, it's got a pretty scary force. Bunch of Lings, bunch of Lings, Banelings, and Ravagers. Maybe even the Queen's joining up the force in this attack. And we do see that Astrea does have at least a few cannons and a shield battery. Stasis Wars coming down. And additional cannons there. Alright, here we go. Solar rolling in. Centrifugal. Okay, the Bangling Speed has yet to finish, but just finished right now. And so far, it's actually... the full speed has been doing pretty good. Oh, actually, nice Roosevelt there. A bunch of high templates going down. There's actually no Storm left. He's only got the Immortal. He does have the War Prism to micro, but there are a lot of Lings coming across the map. Can Astrea hold this? He's the shield battery are finishing up on the back, which should help buffer up these Immortals. Oh, but when Immortals go down, there are still plenty of Ravagers and Lings coming across the map. And is this too much? Solar is slowly but surely kind of pushing Astrea back. At the very least, you need to sacrifice this fourth base, this fourth nexus. Oh man, most of the Immortals has gone down. And oh, the last Immortals get corrosive bow to death. And GG, Solar takes game number 1 here on Internal Empire with a really great timing push. And Solar going up 1-0. Let's see if we can get Salavant back in here. Alright, since Astrea did lose the first game, it will be his map of choice for the game number 2. We'll see what map he decides to go for.
And I'm back.
Alright, welcome back.
I caught the end of game number 1.
Oh, nice. The patch finished downloading? Oh yeah, I see you on.
Yep,
Alright.
it's all good. I'm in.
Sweet.
It didn't take very long. I just didn't want to keep the players waiting.
Alright. So we'll get the second game started once Astrea decides to choose the map of his choice.
So how have you been lately, Snoopy? How's StarCraft going?
Well, the new ladder season and the new ladder maps has gone live. I haven't actually gotten to play too much on it, but I have seen a few games here and there by some other players. So it'll be interesting to see how the meta unfolds. How about
Yeah,
you?
sure will.
Have
I see there's a recent balance update too. Wait, no, that one was from November, so that one's already gone by.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, Sun Look From will be our second map.
I haven't been able to play much lately either. Work and social life and such.
Yeah,
Work, social life, StarCraft, Take 2. I know, I picked the wrong ones.
Well, of course, with the kind of the situation with the world going on, with it is gonna be a lot of StarCraft, I think, with people staying home.
Yeah, I suppose that's very much true. I've been ill for the last few days. Don't know if I had it or not, that I'm not in a high-risk group, so I couldn't be tested, but it seems mild enough that it was probably something else. Still got a bit of a cough, but that's just from lingering irritation. You taking the first intro, or should I?
Why don't you go ahead?
Alright. In the upper left. Losing game 1, but looking to bring it back. It is the blue Protoss. It is Alpha X Astrea.
And spawning at the bottom right, we have our red Zerg from Triumphant Song Gaming, it is Solar.
It's good to see all these players finding teams recently, thanks to the China Team Championship being revitalized. Even Alpha X fielding a team when the next season it does get underway. Though it looks like so many things, may be delayed because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it will happen eventually. And when it does, it is going to be amazing. I believe it's Astrea, Breaking GG, and Sound who will be our roster for that particular thing. So that's going to be amazing to see.
Yeah, I think it's just amazing just to see that the StarCraft scene in China has been growing a lot, especially in the past year. So really happy about that.
Absolutely. The game's been, proclaimed dead for about 8 years, but somehow it still keeps on kicking.
Yeah. Well, at least for the next 3 years for sure. With
Yeah,
the-
what with the ESL 3-year contract going on,
yeah.
which is very good at Blizzard. I've heard there's been a lot more resurgence in interest just because of the stability of the scene for the next few years. It's when you never know what's going to happen in the next year or so. It's basically like always being on contract, which essentially these esports players kind of already are, in the sense that if they stop producing results, if they stop having their fans, cheering for them and tuning in to watch them, they're at financial risk, as well as relying on these tournaments to provide some of their income. So it's nice to at least take one variable out of the equation of an often tumultuous career.
For sure. And it also, I think, it has definitely motivated a lot of the players to train harder and try to get some better results in the upcoming tournaments.
Definitely, we've already seen that with some of the ESL Cups. The people who tend to be most successful in IAM Katowice were often the people who are actually playing in these cups, with Cyril himself being like the notable exception. Like Zest, for instance, did extremely well, and he was a proponent of those cups, and Hero Marine really impressed, and he was doing really well in those cups in Europe.
Yeah, for sure. We do have a little bit of a poke here at the probe. Now, one thing interesting to note on this map, there has been a little bit of a change here. As you can see, kind of in the bottom area next to basically the kind of the dirt base below the main base, there is a kind of a rock at it, and also a more narrow kind of ramp, so it's not as wide open. I think that is a little bit of a change from last season.
Interesting. So if we look at Solar's base, are you talking about the one to the north, the ramp to the north, or the ramp to the west?
The one left, kind of right below the main base. The one, I guess, the one where the creep tumor is spreading to right now, or I guess. Never mind.
That one, right? The one outside the natural. I see. Okay, so that's.
Yeah,
I see what you mean. Yeah, that is definitely a much narrower ramp than I'm used to.
Yeah, it used to be really wide open. So
why did they make that change?
I'm not exactly sure. I guess.
Look at this building placement from Astrea, though.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of risky because it's very easy to send an overlord over there, but I guess Astrea knows that Solar is tends to send one overlord out, because otherwise this could be like just a really bad idea. But as it is, he seems so confident. He's so all in with his placement that I think he knows. And we've got a few Lings who will be harassing for Solar, trying to figure out what's going on. But with this Stalker and Adept in the wall, those are not going to get anything done. The Ling might see the Warp Prism. Oh, this is going to be close, actually. Let's take a look. It just barely spots it out of the corner of his vision, and now he confirms it. He sees it. He knows. He doesn't know what's coming, but he knows something's coming. He is making a spore in his natural. He has no spore in his main, though, but he also knows that the prism isn't in that area. And more importantly, the Warp Prism can't really warp in peace. Although I guess it can warp in DTs, no problem. It doesn't care. He could just go after this Spore Crawler, actually, and do tremendous damage. He's going to try and body block with the Queens. I wonder if he could have just dove in on that, but Astrea too good for that. Not going to take such a giant risk, since he could be in serious trouble if it doesn't pan out. At the same time, he is free to roam free outside of those Spore Crawlers. There is no lair just yet. There is no Overseer. There is no mobile detection on the way. And he's just going to continue to poke around and see what damage can be done. There is no detection in the main, actually, and if Astrea notices that, he could get some serious damage done. But he doesn't know. He doesn't see, and he's making the Archons. So I guess a calculated risk from Solar to not put a Spore Crawl there, and it did very much pay off. Meanwhile, more Lings coming across to that third base, and they will catch that Adept out of position at the third base, so that Adept will go down after getting just 1 or 2 Lings, and Pylon might even go down as well, so he's going to need to warp in more units, but the Lings do back away. So just a few skirmishes here and there, but that Warp Prism is extremely low now, and it really has to go home. So Solar has basically taken almost no damage from this at all. In fact, he may have taken 0 damage. He's lost a few Lings on the other side of the map, but I don't think the Archon's actually got anything done.
Yeah, right now it's just getting that few damage done with that Overlord snipe, but definitely not as much as he wanted, especially with the DTs. I think he probably want to snipe down hopefully a hatchery or get some few drones, but wasn't able to quite do that.
Yeah, and the other thing he's done is that he's denying the creep very well. The creep isn't really spreading very much for Solar because it is likely to get sniped if he tries to move out with it, and an Observer is on the way as well, which will snipe yet more creep tumors. So that's definitely going to do a good job of preventing any sort of mid-game push from being at maximum effectiveness, because there's no way the creeps can be too far out across the map. If you look at that, Solar is only really just now extending that creep past his first few bases. It's very late compared to where a Zerg would like it to be.
Yeah, now there are 2 hallucinated Phoenixes sent out for Astrea, and it will scout that Spire just as it is finishing.
Very nice scout indeed. So it's still 66 draw. Oh, the natural's open. Oh, that's not good at all. Oh, and there's even more of them coming in too, and the army's just at the 30s doing a recall. He's recalling the Prism with the Archons, which will be nice. But at the same time, this is going to get a lot of damage done, a lot of scouting. It's already gotten 4 probes. It's going to continue to get more. It's going to deny mining. Ooh, this is not where you want to be if you're Astrea or an Astrea fan, for that matter. The third, those Lings are going to get caught mostly on the way out, but one or two of them do escape. The Zergling's just impossible to pin down. And Solar gets a full scout, sees exactly what's going on, has a bit of an advantage over Astrea at this point, and one of the Archons is still stuck in the main as the Prism is moving out for a push, but he really could have used that Archon. And now here come the Archons. If he loses that Prism, that could be tremendously bad. Oh, he does lose the Prism, and now the Archons are just going to move, the Mutas are going to move across the map with impunity.
That means no more warping for Astrea. He does gonna warp in a few stalkers to defend against the Mutalisks, but he does have to retreat with his main army.
Yep, and one shield battery does not do a great deal, especially against the Mutalisks. The Immortal is sort of standing there like, what do you expect me to do?
Oh, and these probes are so clumped up.
Yep, and more stalkers be forced to warp in. This is not what Astrea wants to be building. Solar is nearly maxed out as well. He stayed on 66 workers. I think he's going to go for a big Roach Ravager push off these Mutalisks. And I think it might just kill Astrea.
Oh yeah, these Mutalisks has done so much damage. And yep, it looks like Solar will be moving across the map, morphing in some more Ravagers, producing a lot of units on the production tab. The one thing Astrea does have going on for him is that he does the +1 attack, so that may be help in the fight, but that is a lot of Zerg army force.
Yeah, and one of those Archons is still stuck in the main. Good force fields, but they will only delay the Roach Ravager army for a moment, and overall there's just so much numbers here. It's a great position that he's got, but it's not enough, and the Zealots and Stalkers are actually stuck behind that Archon too, unable to get into the fight.
Oh, and even the
closer... They're going to try now, but there's only a couple of Immortals. The charge lots are going down one by one, and the supply lead is just tremendous for Solar, even catching a few of his own units, but it just doesn't matter. It's double the supply now for the Zerg, and even with Roach Ravager, that is not somewhere you want to be. And again, the Stalkers, the Archon, they're just stuck as the Changelings are actually blocking off the natural base, and just a dominating game from Solar overall, from start to finish.
Yeah, and he will go up 2-0 in this best of 9 series. So Solar often a really strong start. We'll see if Astrea can bring it back here for game number 3.
Solar is so good.
Oh yeah, I mean he just had just a glimpse of that Warp Prism, and he was able to spot it with the Ling and follow it.
Yep, they confirmed it, managed to get absolutely zero damage dealt to him, just completely took control of the game from there, went for the Warp Prism, knowing his opponent couldn't have a Stargate when the Warp Prism was coming that early with the DTs, proceeded to use that to gain an advantage, and then knew he could take advantage of that with a Roach Ravager push. Just overall, every step of the game perfectly planned out to maximize his impact against Protoss, and yeah, that's basically a clinic of how to beat that opening right there.
Definitely. And let's go ahead while we start this next game to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, F-Bomb. They're a line of low carb, high fat foods to help you live a healthier life. They research, they test and taste and source the highest quality ingredients and put them into custom made packages. Thanks to F-Bomb products and their unique packaging, finding tasty high quality fat options at home or on the go is no longer a challenge. Whether you're at work, at the gym, on a hike, or traveling the world, you want to be sporting F-Bombs. Alright.
There you go. It's always good to have those, those prepared meals available to you, especially if you're on a diet and you don't have a lot of time.
Alright, looks like Purity and Industry will be our third map.
One of the new ones. I haven't played on this one. Have you, Snoopy?
I have not, but it is definitely a really interesting one. We'll talk. We'll talk about it once we get into the game. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. All right, let's see if the players are ready.
What the devil is this? Very interesting.
Yeah.
I like the the white and black aesthetic and the name Purity and Industry. Very cool. Who will be the industrialists and who will be the industrialists and who will be the Puritans in this particular map? That's so close by air too, but is that a lot of an island base and a ton of slow inhibitors? Man, this is really interesting of a map. All right, in the upper left, representing Purity, it is the red Protoss. It is Astrea. Protoss representing Purity. How silly.
And spawning at the 3 o'clock position, we have our blue Zerg. It is Solar. Alright, so
why don't you tell us a bit about this map?
Yeah, so as you pointed out, there is a very, very random island on the top right. But then also there is a bit of a bunch of inhibitor zones, all indicated by the red circle. So ideally, yes, it could look like a really strong map for air, but you got to make sure or keep in mind that there are a bunch of inhibitor zones, so it'll be your air units will be slowed down. And then there, of course, is a base kind of with the wait 1 second. Let me find this. Okay, yeah, here we go. The gold base all the way at the bottom left. So if someone wants to go ahead and get a ninja base, they can try their luck there, and hopefully their opponent doesn't scout them.
Interesting. And what's the ground rush distance like on this map? It looks pretty big.
Yeah, there's a lot of zigzagging, so it's not the greatest for ground attacks. But again, it's kind of an oxymoron, because you would think, oh yeah, it's great for air then, right? But there's the inhibitor zone, so it's not the greatest for air, but it's also not the greatest for ground. So I think it kind of evens out.
Another interesting thing to notice is that Zerg tends to want to expand away from the opponent. On this map, you can do that for a long time.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at the expansions on this map. It's like,
yeah, like how do you ever reach that third base? It's going to take you like 2 minutes to get there.
Exactly.
I still think this is a good map for air, despite the inhibitor zones.
Yeah, I mean, if you can kind of make sure you don't lose your air army while on the retreat, then I think it should be fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of different angles you can go at, but yeah, the inhibitor zones definitely do make things interesting. Like warp prisms and such can easily be sniped on the retreat. I think it might be good for overlord drops, especially if you lose an overlord. I mean, who cares?
I'm also thinking like it should be good for some proxies. Like if Protoss does a proxy Stargate or a proxy robo or something, that might actually work, because at least it'll
You wouldn't even need to. You wouldn't even need to proxy it. Just put a Stargate in your main base. How much closer can you get?
All right. We had the first adept coming in. Ooh, that probe does nearly gets by, and the adepts will shade in. Will he finish it? Nope.
I know a pretty sneaky place you could put a Stargate if you really, or a row if you really wanted to, SOS style it. You see, to the northeast of Solar's third, how there's a little section that actually is not explored by the drone as it passes through. What if you put a building right there?
Oh. Yeah, that's possible.
I mean, who would think to look there?
Yeah, I mean, this map does have a lot of places to proxy, but anyhow, we do see that Overlord speed does finish, but again, these inhibitors don't slows them down. So even though they're
these inhibitor zones don't appear to be slowing down the Phoenixes that much, but let's see what its speed is when it actually gets out. Oh yeah, I can see that Phoenix does look slower than normal. Yeah, I can see it. It seems like a relatively weak inhibitor zone. I don't know if there's different kinds of inhibitor zones in this game. Some that are stronger than others. But it looks like you can still get away. You just need to be a little more conservative. I like how the Overlords are on the edge of the map, just not like waiting for potential Warp Prism or something like that to come out. Solar just thinking of pretty much everything. Starting to get his creep out a lot faster than the previous game as well, since he's not being challenged by that, since Phoenix is not known for their ability to kill creep tumors very well. Even lifts up a scouting Zergling to be like, no, you don't get to scout, but there is another one on its way, and it is going to look at the Watchtower, which can check any early attacks by ground and some early attacks by air, depending on how careful you are with your positioning. And we are just going to see more Phoenixes coming out of Astrea, which is an interesting build. He's already got a third base on the way, and Solar not going for the fourth just yet, going for a lair. Zergling speed nearly finishing. Twilight and Council and Forge coming up for Astrea, so it looks like a relatively light game. A light start to game number 3. A couple of gateways are going up for Astrea at the third base. He's got a couple of adepts and a couple of sentries, so these lings probably aren't going to do very much. But he's making 20 more of them, so he's committing decently hard to this. Even a shield battery going up at the third, I like that. And we will see if Solar can get anything done with this. He's already behind 4 workers. He's actually building more and more lings. He's really trying to deny this third and trying very hard. There is going to be a surround coming in, but oh, look at that positioning in the mineral line, using the minerals and even a building shield battery to block the surface area. That's really well done.
Yeah, and now these lings are just basically useless.
Oh, he's getting a Nidus network and a Hydrogen though, so I think he's going to try and drop things into the main, maybe. Drop some lings into the main, get past these walls, but yeah, that's so many lings. Solar is not building, he's still on 48 workers, he's not building more of them. He's really going to definitely try and attack with this. Astrea definitely needs to get back undercover with these units. But here comes the Nidus Worm is nearly finished. We'll have to see where it actually gets brought up. I think he might just be doing a Hydra-based all-in, and he's going to use the Nidus network not to try and bypass the walls, but to reinforce. And that's exactly what he's doing. The Nidus network is on its way as he tries. Oh, he gets us around with the lings. Ooh. He's hitting everything. There is an Oracle that has been quite smartly produced in order to attack these Zerglings, because Astrea knows the threat he's under with the lings, but does he know about the Hydras? Oh, and the Queens are coming out too. That's so many Queens. The Hydralisks aren't quite done yet, but look at all those Queens and lings that are coming out. The Oracle is already in tremendous trouble, and here comes the attack on the third base. Astrea might just have to give it up. He's got 67 workers. He's got no idea, and he's recalling into his natural. He saves the workers. Very nicely done. He knows how dangerous this attack really is, and he's deciding to just give up his third base and protect his natural. But can he do that with these Hydralisks coming in?
Yeah, and the Robo is going to get sniped down too, so there's not going to be a robotic spade that he can throw down. He's going to have to rely on the High Templars to storm them, but that is way, way, way in the future.
Yeah, definitely. He is really going to just be relying on gateway units to defend this. Gateway units and I guess some Archons, because Storm is, a million years away in comparison. But he might not go after the... he sent the Queens back, so I think he's just satisfied with keeping Astrea on 2 bases. Let Astrea come out and attack into him.
Yeah,
We do
but
have a couple of drones being picked off by these phoenixes, but compared to losing a third base, that's not that much. And we do have a ton of creep tumors coming out as well to just block this third base for even longer. A gateway being destroyed in order to allow these Archons to leave the base. As our Solar is actually going to try and claim a different base. Very interesting. He's like, alright, if you've got all this creep and such here, I can't retake this anytime soon. I'm just going to take this base, but this base is very open and definitely open to a flanked attack. And here come the Lings, but there are two Oracles here. They proceed to do nothing, and there is no there actually is no wall at the natural, but Solar doesn't realize that just yet. And the Oracles will continue to defend this base from Ling attacks. Fourth base only now coming up for Solar, though, so that is a good thing for Astrea. But Astrea needs this third base and needs to keep it alive, as the main army is taking out these Nidus Worms, but cannot attack the creep because there is no observer. And the Robo was sniped.
these Phoenixes unfortunately fly through the Hydralisk, so he's down only to one Phoenix.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't gonna be too much. I mean, it was only 4 Phoenixes or so it wasn't gonna do too much damage, but that just means one less option for economic harass.
That the storm is about 30 or 40 seconds away. We'll have to see if Solar wants to attack now or wait. I think he wants to wait a bit longer. At the very least, he wants to wait for Baneling speed. So a storm will be done for this next attack, but there aren't that many storms available. There's only 2 storms available right now, so they're going to have to really count for this next attack. The fourth base is now up, and all of the creep tumors that would be blocking the third base are now destroyed. And he's going to send out some zealots to try and get some harass done, but we have a big Hydraling Bane force coming in, and it's probably going to attack on 2 fronts here. This is why you don't want to take this third base. This could be very, very dangerous for Astrea. And Solar is sending the queens across as well. He loves to do that. 3 shield batteries coming up for Astrea. He knows what kind of danger he's in, but this flank is going to be huge. There are a lot of storms, though. He's going to really need to hit the good storms and not let the entire Templar get sniped by the Banelings. He's going for it. He's still got a few storms available, but the rest of the army is just slowly melting. Well, actually very quickly melting. And he's almost out of storms already. And there's still so many Hydralisks and such left over. The Lings flood in, and it's just GG. It's called again. And Solar is just overwhelming Astrea with these barrages of mid-game units after getting an advantage early on.
Yeah. Oh man, tough position for Astrea. He's gonna have to start getting some points on the scoreboard, or it's gonna be a kind of a walkover.
Yeah, he's lost 3 separate mid-games in 3 separate ways. Solar's bag of tricks pretty deep. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Swarm Hosts next. I mean, it's like the only mid-game thing he hasn't done yet.
Yeah.
He's done Mutas, he's done Hydraling Bane, and he's done Roach Ravager.
Alright,
Did he do Ravager Bane in game 1? Or just Roach Ravager?
He did Ling, Ravager, Baneling.
Okay, then yeah. I think we might see Swarm Hosts in game number 4. Astrea's getting some water, maybe getting a chance to clear his mind. Try and get back into this.
Yeah. His next map, of course, will be on Everdream, so let's see if he can pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Snoopy, get me out of here.
Oh.
I don't want to be locked in a cage with Solar with no way out.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Solar's down. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into that, while we wait for Astrea, let's go ahead and remind you guys there is a Matcherino page for this event. So in the chat area, if you see there's a little bit of a little poster board that has the Matcherino link as well as the Matcherino code that you can use to donate 50 cents for free at no additional cost. You just sign in. So let's go ahead and actually demonstrate it to you guys as we have it on screen here. So basically you go into this link, this Matcherino URL, click on the sign in button. You can log in with your Battle.net, your Facebook, your Google, your YouTube, your Twitch, your Twitter, your Discord, or your Microsoft account. And once you do that, you can go ahead and second here. Let me go out. Once you sign in, wait, why isn't it moving? Hold up. Let me go ahead and refresh this page. All right. So yeah, once you sign in, you just click on the contribute button here. Click on the coupon code area, enter the coupon code, and then just contribute, and it will, contribute the 50 cents for free. And if you want donate additional funds to the prize pool, you can go ahead and do the Matrino quest. There's a Twitter quest, there's a YouTube quest, and that will of course add additional prize pool. And then if you want to, on top of that, support, you can also do the marketplace. You can buy some hoodies, the Alpha X tees, hats, even a caster tip jar if you want to send some love our way.
Astrea's in the lobby.
All right.
And they are ready to go. I hope we don't end up with a short series here, Snoopy.
I hope so too. So far, Solar is looking to be really, really strong.
Oh yeah, I mean, I expected Solar to take this series, but his dominance has just been astounding. Really goes to show like the gap between the top players and the nearly their top players. All right, in the bottom left, the Red Zerg representing Triumphant Song Gaming, looking indestructible. Can he sweep this? It is Solar.
And spawning at the top right, we have our Blue Zerg from Team Alpha X, looking to get his first points on the scoreboard. Can he do it? It is Astrea.
Alright, this is also a map I haven't seen before. It looks to be reasonably standard as far as maps go, though. It seems like it's pretty easy to take 3 bases. Taking the 4th might be a little bit more difficult. But overall, it seems like a pretty macro-heavy map. Medium to large rush distance, but not too many ways to attack into the 3rd. And is that a rich Vespine geyser on the base to the west of Astrea's potential 3rd?
Yep, that is correct. Here's a...
Intriguing.
Yep.
Also a very open base to take, though, so definitely pretty risky, especially for the Protoss to take. So it'll be interesting to see if either of these players do go for that, and when they decide to go for it. I guess it would be more of a 5th or a 6th base than a 4th one.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a big map with a lot of bases that are reasonably close together, so we could see a bit of a long one here. Solar's mid-game focused strategy may have a bit more trouble getting traction here.
Yeah, the one thing about this map is there is a bunch of third base options. You can go to the one next to the main base. You can go to the one that is more parallel, horizontal, or you can go for the one that has the rich Vespine geyser. So it'll be interesting to see which third base both these players go for. And also another interesting thing about this map is, you know, the little kind of the ramp area with the little kind of patterns, like the teal patterns or something like that. Aqua patterns there. Yeah. So before the ladder, this ladder map hit the ground running, it was actually a kind of a different layout. It was a layout where you can actually wall off with two pylons and do a cannon rush with there, kind of at the bottom area. But I think once Blizzard found that out, they kind of patched it and fixed it and now it's a wider area, so you can't really do that anymore.
I see. That makes sense. I think that the choice of third base is really more of a choice of fourth base. I think that both sides are going to take the vertical third base, the same one Solar's taking. I expect Astrea to take the 3 o'clock one. But the choice of fourth base is a bit more interesting. The one to the bottom of that 3 o'clock one, or the one to the northwest, i.e. the one near the main, both are potential options.
Yeah, I think the horizontal one has a better defensive posture, so you can do like things like wall off. while the one with the Vespine geyser and or the one next to the main base is a much larger area, so it's much harder. But then if you can sometimes see players, if they want to be a bit more aggressive, they can possibly take that as a third base. But anyhow, we do have a Oracle follow up, and it has gotten scouted by the Zerg, so we'll see if, I'm sure Solar will definitely, yeah, he's throwing down some Spore Crawlers and starting to prepare the defense against that.
Yep, in the meantime, just seeing what he can get done, seeing what he can scout, pushing these overlords away, stopping them from moving out onto the map. There are actually currently 0 overlords out of the map for Solar, but that's why he's sending out the Zerglings. At this point, the game is so well mapped out that they know what's going to happen almost before it happens for most openings. And in this case, he knew he was going to lose these this Overlord to the Phoenix, and thus was prepared to send out Lings. And we do have a 4 Adept Poke, which is an interesting thing. You don't see that a lot in this day and age, like just Adepts without glaives or anything, just 4 Adepts seeing what they can get done. So this has the potential to catch Solar a little bit off guard, but he does have Queens and Lings already in position. But I wonder if what might be nice is to see him sort of split them up. Oh, he does get takes a lot of damage on that Oracle, but gets 2 drones in total. What would be interesting is I would like to see him almost split those Adepts up, but instead he just decides to send them home, just seeing what he can trick Solar into building while he gets his own 3rd base up. And there is a Ling at the 3rd base that will scout it, but will get taken down by the Adepts, who are now back home, ready for an attack. But this time Solar's not going for an attack, he's going up to a 60 drone count very quickly and very healthily. He's going to go out with some Lings, but there's no way those are going to get anything done.
Yeah, Lair is halfway done, but these Oracles still a threat out on the map. Will poke in, but the Spore Crawler and the Queen will push that back. But you know, so far I like the openings for Astrea. Has gone much better compared to the previous games. He hasn't lost an Oracle yet, and he's gotten his 3rd established rather on a timely fashion.
Sure, but Solar's also at like 69 workers, and he basically has barely been hurt at all as well. There's only been a total of 4 kills on these 2 Oracles together. So overall, both sides pretty much getting to do exactly what they want thus far. And we do have the Infestation Pit.
Oh, do you think it's going to be some Swarm Host play here?
That's what I said, and I stand by it. He's getting +1 range, he's getting Roach speed, so I don't think Fast Hive is on the menu. I think we're definitely going to see Swarm Hosts. But in that case, I would expect to see a Nidus network pretty soon coming up as well. And he is taking the aggressive 4th base, which also bodes well with the kind of strategy that's trying to keep his opponent on the other side of the map. But in this case, Astrea is getting aggressive. He's going to deny that 4th base. Oh, and we are going to see some sentries and Immortals get not quite caught by the Lings in so much as... Oh, but the Natural's open again. The 3rd base is also pretty much defenseless, but we are seeing a big attack from Astrea, and this shield battery will protect these probes from these Zerglings. And we do have Oracles coming home to defend. And here comes the attack from Astrea. Astrea's like, okay, if you're going to do mid-game attacks, I'm just going to out-mid-game attack you. We do have some Corrosive Balls coming down to block off these force fields, but a few Ravagers will get sniped down, as all of these Corrosive Balls need to be used not on the army, but on the force fields. And Astrea has about the same amount of supply as Solar, but it's mostly Roach Ravager for Solar. It's a pretty high-pitched battle here, as a bunch of these Roaches and Ravagers is getting sniped out, but the shield batteries, the sentries are low, and we don't have a Warp Prism. So that means that there's a limit to what this attack can actually do, but it is going to force nothing but units and not even any Swarm Hosts coming out, which is almost a win in of itself. Solar is stuck on 3 bases, stuck on building Roach Ravager, and I think Astrea's attack has done tremendously well despite not actually getting any true damage done.
Yeah, he didn't need to overcommit. I think that was the thing that was scary for him.
Oh, but there is an attack with the Roaches and the Lings are going to body block a lot of these sentries. Can they sneak out and escape? They do, just in time. And a good force field comes down, and this is the kind of spot where Astrea wants to fight, but he is taking some damage from the Corrosive Balls, and he is going to back out now, just getting maximum amount of damage done with the units he has. More Stalkers warping in for Astrea, so both sides kind of being forced to make units they don't want, and with this Robotics Bay, I think we're going to go into Disruptors, given the amount of Stalkers we have.
Oh yeah, but does he have blink? I don't think he has blink. Yeah, he doesn't
He
have blink.
doesn't, but here come the Oracles to do what they can. We do have a Warp Prism though, so who needs Blink when you have that? Oh, an Oracle actually dies to Corrosive Biles, hilariously. But with these extra Immortals, this will send Solar backwards, and now he makes the Swarm Hosts.
Ooh, was a pretty.
So I was right, it's just that he was forced back. And now, actually, Colossus is the tech of choice for Astrea, not Disruptors.
Oh.
Which is interesting. I think Disruptors would do really well here.
But you know what? Because Solar is going for Swarm Host, I mean, the Colossus might actually do pretty well against that.
Yeah, they can do pretty well against Locusts, but I worry if the Locusts just land around the Colossus, then they can get sniped so easily.
Yeah, he'll need some buffer for those Colossus. But he has lost a lot of sentries during that attack. So, yeah, he's going to have to be careful.
This is true, and force fields usually sort of lose value throughout the game, but against Roach Ravager Swarmhost, they're still pretty good. So it would have been nice to keep those sentries around. And now we do have these Swarmhosts going forward. The best way to counter Swarmhosts is generally not to let them do their thing on your side of the map. And unfortunately, that's exactly what Solar is now doing. So he's going to attack with these Locusts, which is not the ideal situation you want. But the Stasis Ward gets blocked, gets killed just in time for Solar as he focuses that down like a champion. And this fourth base is never going up. And he's going to lose the third base as well, I think.
Oh man.
Oh no. Solar with just beautiful positioning overall, and this was Astrea's best game yet, but now I'm worried that he's getting too far behind. He still has the worker advantage, but he's not able to mine with them.
Oh man, he just started Blink. The Colossus range just finished, so he might actually get some nice decent shots here, but there are so many Ravagers, a lot of Corrosive Biles. And
yeah, the Colossi are doing tremendous work. Oh, the Swarmos actually aren't doing their thing, but now the Roaches and Ravagers are moving forward anyway. It just doesn't even seem to matter. There's just so much here, and he needs to retreat away, but these Locusts, there's just so many of them. This Colossus is in so much danger. The shield battery does get a little bit down, but he has to retreat away from the third base, and the third base gets killed once again. And the Colossus!
Ooh, that was so close.
It was. But in the end, he's going for Disruptors now, but it's too late. The Spire is already on its way for Solar, and I'm definitely getting worried for Astrea in this game number 4.
Yeah, his overall supply lead has just gone way ahead, and he is not relenting on the attack. Actually,
and the
snipes
Prism
the
dies with the Colossus in it. And GG is called, and Solar takes game number 4 with Swarm Hosts.
So well done there by Solar. He takes a commanding 4-0 lead and is only one game away from taking this whole show match.
Yes, he is. Solar proving his mastery of the mid game in 4 different ways. I just don't think there's anything else he can do in the mid game.
Yeah, that was just pretty tough.
Mutalisks, Ravager Bane, Hydraling Bane, and Swarm Hosts. Maybe just like a 3-base Roach bust?
Possibly. Alright, so again, it's going to be once again Astrea's map of choice. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and shout out to another one of our sponsors, G Fuel. They are the official esports energy drink, and they have a variety of flavors. They have one that is more towards caffeine, more gears toward caffeine. If you want a bit of caffeine boost, or if you're a bit more thirsty, they have a hydration variety. So you could get a bunch of varieties, a bunch of different flavors, and the best part is all their drinks has no sugar. So they have absolutely no sugar. You don't have to worry about that. And yeah, just go ahead and try some G Fuel energy formula drinks.
Energy drinks without sugar. It's about time. Sugar is not the kind of energy you want from energy drinks, and it just builds up the calories so much.
Alright, Nightshade will be Astrea's map of choice
For what could be his final map of this series. I believe Zaun was facing off against Solar a few days ago. Do you know what happened there?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna look that up.
I think Solar won 5-3. if I remember correctly.
If so, I'm very impressed with sound.
Or maybe that was
Taking
no,
that
that was
name.
Sue. No, that was Trap versus Sue. Never mind.
Let's take a look. Yeah, that was Trap versus Sue. Did Sound play against Solar? I'm not seeing that here on the list of matches in 2020. Maybe I'm thinking of Cure versus Sound.
Possibly. Let me go ahead and double check on that. I think we have a match
No,
arena.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it just here.
Oh,
There
okay.
is no the last match with Sound in it was Cure versus Sound.
Oh no, that was the
Astrea has.
Alpha X series number 5. So it wasn't Alpha Pro series.
Oh,
Okay.
what's the difference?
Uh,
Is this like a new thing? Oh,
yeah,
is this a new thing?
it's a new thing. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll just enter the lobby now. Oh, was this like part of the tournament or?
No, it's like I believe it's a best of 7 series show match, and it is hosted on Creighton Olsen's Twitch channel,
Ah, cool.
or I guess the Alpha X Twitch channel. Either way, yeah. So basically, Alpha X in a entirely different series than the Alpha Pro series, but both of them still awesome.
So much content that I can't even keep up.
Yeah, we have so many different varieties of kind of events on our side that I've given up on trying to keep count.
In the upper left, representing Triumphant Song Gaming and getting ready to sing his triumphant swan song, it is Solar.
Oh, I like that. Oops, I got the wrong. There we go. Let's go. Solar right there. There we go. All right, and spawning at the bottom right, we have our blue Protoss. Can he do a reverse all kill to win the series? It is Astrea.
And Astrea is going to Gateway Scout this time. He hasn't often done that this series so far. He's preferred to keep the Scout a bit later. So we'll see what he wants to do with that. If he wants to block the third base or if he's looking for something else. I think it is just going to probably look to block off an early third from Solar since it's too late to hit the natural. Maybe he's expecting some sort of potential all-in for the 5th game. Maybe he thinks the same thing that I'm thinking, namely, he's done all the mid-game stuff. What if he decides to just go for an early game thing? But I'm thinking more of a Roach bust than a 12 pool or something like that. Not the least because he can no longer do a 12 pool, but it also just doesn't really seem Solar's style, especially against an opponent who he's clearly doing well against.
Well, you know what? I mean, he is up 4-0, so if he does open up with a kind of aggressive push or try something out of the norm, then I mean, it's not a bad time to do it when you're up 4-0.
I'm just going to make my prediction. I think he's just going to go Ravager Bane again. It's a solid style. It's probably the strongest mid-game style, and he hasn't pulled it off in 3 games. So I think he's just going to go for another Ravager Bane sort of style, similar to game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I mean, it has worked out pretty well these past previous game with that unit composition.
Bit of juking and jiving going around along that mineral patch, and Astrea tossing down a cheese thing, perhaps as an indication of what's to come, or simply as a bit of mental warfare. We shall see if Astrea does want to do some sort of all-in. I would not fault him for it. And he is getting a very fast Twilight Council, so there are a few different things he could do off that, but he's not going for the Stargate, which very well means we could see Mutalisks again from Solar if the game gets to that level. And Solar going for a more delayed third this time, maybe in reaction to seeing that probe and knowing that if he sent a drone out, the probe might just stop it from building. Had to wait for his lings to be done for that to happen. And he's going to send that probe home now that it's scouted everything it can, and we'll have to wait until this Twilight Council's finished to see what happens. I think it's going to be, I was going to say a Dark Shrine, but there goes the Robo. So we'll have to see what's coming next. Probably some sort of Warp Prism-based attack, so it could very well be the Dark Shrine after all. As a Stalker is now on its way to, because that's needed to fend off these Overlords, considering that there will be no Stargate for quite some time in this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's no a Glaive of Depths upgrade researching, so yeah, it's definitely the Dark Shrine.
There we go. DT drop. Looks like it's going to be the tech of choice for Astrea. Hasn't done too well with it so far this series, but we'll see if he is able to mix that up successfully. As we do have a couple of adepts seeing what they can get done. Probably just going to do a scout, given all these lings. Sol's actually keeping these lings away to try and bait Astrea into finishing his shade. Very nicely done, but Astrea is too smart for that. He knows a player of Sol's caliber is not just going to leave his mineral line completely undefended like that. And we have a Roach Warren now on the way for Solar. Well, as well as the third and fourth, or the second and third gas, as well as along with the lair. He even cancels that spore crawler. Actually, he cancels the spore crawler.
Ooh, that's not.
But then that's because he's building a very fast lair, though. So I think this lair is going to be done, and an Overseer is going to be ready before the Dark Shrine is, well, before the Dark Templar can do their thing. The Dark Shrine's nearly done, but the Warp Prism is just leaving. So overall, I think Solar's like, okay, I'm going to have detection up in time no matter what. But this lair is taking a while to finish, and if he doesn't build an Overseer immediately, he actually could be in some trouble. Now he's building 2 spores. Oh, I think he's a bit worried. But this Warp Prism is going to the natural, and that's the one place the spore crawlers aren't being built. He guessed he did a calculated risk against the DTs in game number 2, and he's doing the same thing here. But in this case, the calculation may have gone awry. Overseer only just now morphing. If he goes for that hatchery, he might just straight up kill it.
Oh, he's trying to go and snipe the drones, though.
He's not going to be able to snipe the hatchery. No, the Overseer is going to morph too quickly. I don't think he would have gotten that even if he right-clicked on it instantly. Brilliant crisis management from Solar.
Yeah, and really great timing. That was just barely in time.
Yeah. Does deny a bit of mining time, though. Does Astrea, and he will still have the Archon drop ready, as we're going to put a Spore Crawler right at the edge there, which is a very nice choice. Because that means that there's no way that this basically makes the base completely safe, although I guess you can try and just duck through here. Ooh, bold move, and he does. But won't really get much damage done. Lots of roaches and queens there. Even drones being pulled off the line to avoid any incidental splash damage being dealt to them. Again, we do have the issue of the creep. As the creep is very delayed for Solar, as he's not going to have much map vision, much map control, thanks to these Archons and the Observer flying around. We do have Roach Speed coming out, so I think Ravager Bane may very well continue to be the tech of choice, although that means he'll need to throw down a Baneling Nest pretty soon. He might just go for straight up Roaches, though, and go for that Roach counterattack.
Yeah, Solar seems really comfortable with his Roach and Ravager kind of army composition and control.
He's staying on 60 workers, Snoopy.
Oh.
He's building another bunch of Overlords. He might just be, going for a Roach-based attack. +1 and charge on the way. 3 drones killed. Astrea is getting a little bit of damage done, nibbling away at the Zerg. And the Zerg is making no attempt at a 4th base and no attempt at more tech.
Yeah, the 4th base is... I mean, you would usually see the 4th base being thrown down right now, but... Yeah, it looks
even
like...
faster than that. I've seen it down. I would usually see it down by like 6 minutes or so in a standard game. Assuming that he's not being put under heavy pressure, and he's not. He's only being put under relatively light pressure. So I think we are definitely going to see a Roach Ravager attack to finish off this, to potentially finish off this series. Meanwhile, we do have the Templar Archives. +1 and charge are finishing for Astrea, but he needs Immortals. And he only has a couple. He has 3 of them. He's building a 4th, so he's starting to build up that Immortal count. Starting an idea of what's going on. And Astrea is actually going to take out some of these Roaches. Very nicely done. He's using force fields to prevent them from getting away, and will snipe a few Roaches for free. Every unit matters here. If Astrea can snipe off some of these units, delay the attack for as long as he can, that will be very helpful, as Storm is now on the way, as well as +2. If Storm finishes, that's huge, even against Roaches. And it is just Roach Ravager from Solar for the time being.
Oh man, this is a pretty scary...
Oh, but this is a dangerous fight for Astrea. He has forced to recall out. He loses an Immortal, and he might lose an Archon as well, and he does. Oh, these are some very expensive units that you cannot afford to lose.
Yeah, he only recalled like half his army, so the other half was kind of lagging behind. And here comes the Roaches.
Slightly for Solar, which is as we expect when dealing with Roach Ravager. Oh, that's a beautiful set of force fields, though. It is starting to chew through a lot of those Roaches and Ravagers. The supply lead remains the same for Solar though, but he keeps these important immortals alive, and a lot of these roaches are getting very low at this point. He needs to dodge the corrosive balls, which he does, but he's really going low on his units. He's pulling probes off the line, but the immortals are just getting absolutely swept, and I think that Solar might just actually take this game and series right here. There's nowhere for the immortal to run.
Yeah, Solar has been dominant throughout this whole series, and it looks like he will take it 5-0. Unfortunately for Astrea, he will go home with no wins on the scoreboard, but at least he will go home with some few of the prize pool. But Solar is our champion for tonight.
And the first guess was right, the Mass Roach Bust, really the only mid-game style left for Solar. Solar winning 5 separate mid-games with 5 separate styles. This man is terrifying.
Terrifying indeed.
It's like he came in with like an achievement list to tick off during this series. Like ZVP mid-game master, win a professional match with this, just ticks them all off one by one.
All right, and that pretty much does it for the series. GG's. Go ahead, GG's, guys. But before we head on off and wrap this up, I'd like to do one last shout out to our sponsor, 24 Hour Fitness. Guys, if you don't have it yet, go ahead and download the 24 Go app on your phone. With that, you can actually use it to connect with trainers or create personalized fitness plans, and also track your progress and your rewards. Even get some fitness tips and guidance from it. So right now, if you're at home, if you're stuck at home, you can use that app and get some exercise done. Once again, thanks to our friends at 24 Hour Fitness. Go ahead and check them out at 24hourfitness.com. All right. Once again, this is a 5-0 win for Solar. And hope you guys enjoyed the games. Any last words, Salamant, before we head on off?
Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. It was a bit of a one-sided series, but it was definitely a fun one. We saw some incredible play from Solar overall. I can't wait to see him in the next season of GSL when that does happen, which is coming fairly soon, shortly after Super Tournament, which starts this week. I'm very excited for that indeed. And Astrea, not his day, but he will continue to train hard against the Koreans and see what he can get done in future months and years. I look forward to seeing how he goes in the next one.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And this is your friendly neighborhood casting duo signing out.
Nuclear missile ready.